Hey guys, years ago I remember Oprah Winfrey. She said, I think it was on her show. She said that God can dream a bigger dream for you than you can ever dream for yourself, and she was so absolutely right. And I say that because I want to talk to you all today a little bit about the law of attraction and what it has meant to me in my life and what it has done for me. Um, Currently I am reading this book right here, and I'm going to insert a picture um, in or I'm gonna split screen it so you can see what I'm reading. And I'm reading that book right there, and that's a follow up to the book The Secret. And I don't know if a lot of people know about this book, but it's a follow up to The Secret. And I didn't know about The Secret until my mom told me a few years ago. And what I want to talk to you today is about how law of attraction kind of, well, not kind of, but has played an important role in my life and what I'm doing, currently. So currently, right now, I'm reading that book in addition to working on learning how to to gosh, to Lord have mercy, my thoughts trying to go away from me. No, you're not gonna get away from me. Trying to meditate consistently every day, whether in the morning or at night, before I go to sleep. But um, real quick, I'm trying to get this all in here before 15 minutes is up. I'm at a minute 45. But years ago, this was when me and my sister had moved back home with my parents. And she and my sister and I, my baby sister and I, before this was before we both of us were married, before we were engaged or anything. So years ago, when I was in my single, I was my single life, and we had shared an apartment for years. And then I think her job had laid her off or something. And then my parents, they offered for us to come back home, to move back home to save money and not be stressed about, bills, extra, et cetera, et cetera. And, and so I was like, well, yeah, I can move back home, save money, whatever, whatever. And so me and my sister, we moved back home. And so a year after that, my father passed away. And so this particular, it was like on a Sunday. I'm not sure exactly when. I can't remember what year, but I was sitting in church service, and I don't know, we was in worship service, we was in prayer service, what was going on. I do remember my eyes were closed, and I do remember seeing a vision. And in my vision, I began to see like the curve of a sidewalk. And I didn't know what that sidewalk was leading to. I was like, well, Lord, what is this? I didn't know if he was just, it was a vision of me getting ready to go somewhere, or what it was. But it was like as if in the vision I began to zoom out, and like my thoughts and my vision were directed towards a house. And in that instance, I knew that God wanted me to have a home. And I really had never, I mean, I always wanted, of course, to have a house, but I wasn't thinking that time about home ownership. I really wasn't thinking about it because at the time I think I was really trying to work on my credit, getting my credit back to where it needed to be, working on, my finances and stuff like that. So I really wasn't thinking about buying a home or purchasing a home. But I felt like that's what God wanted me to see, to work towards, to envision for myself in my life. And so, I took it in my head. I think I may have written it out. I'm not sure, because a lot of times when I have dreams and stuff, sometimes I write it out or I try to remember it. And so, not long after that, there was this prophet that came to our church, and I never forget him. He's deceased now, but at that time he came to our church. He wasn't old. He was a young guy in his 30s, and when he passed away, I don't think he was even 40. But he had said to me, he called me out when he was at the height of service, and at the end of service, normally he would start kind of like prophesying or praying, praying for people, praying over people, prophesying. And I was standing there, and he pointed me out, and he came to me and he told me about a house. He said it's gonna be a 2-story house with garage, and then he said swimming pool. And I think I just started crying because I hadn't told anybody. God had showed me that. So what he said to me was a confirmation of what I saw. And I was just so excited. And like I said, this was years ago. And I just never forget the vision that I saw. And I'm going to insert a picture here to show you exactly what I'm talking when I talk about the curved sidewalk. So I'm going to show you here exactly what it is that I was talking about. And so, you know, things transpired in my life over the years. So, this was years, this was years ago. Because, like I said, this happened before I even got married. And then I don't know how long after that, me and my husband, we got engaged. We were engaged for a year, and then we got married. When he and I got married, at that time, he was living in Atlanta. And we had got married. We kind of pretty much, we didn't have a big wedding or anything. We just pretty much like eloped. We got married like on a Tuesday. My husband, he had to go back to Atlanta that next day. And so we had found, an apartment and everything. And so it was like 2 or 3 weeks later, he came, I think it was February, yeah, because we got married 3 days before my 40th birthday. We got married on January 15th. And then he came back on February the 1st. We're going to move in our apartment. We got an apartment and everything. So we were married. He was in Atlanta. I was in South Carolina still working. So, yeah. So he came back and we were living in our apartment and everything. And he and I were married for a few years before we even, started the home buying process. But we were in an apartment and, we wanted a house. We had talked about it and we just didn't know. I didn't know anything about buying a house. I didn't know how that process worked. I hadn't talked to anybody. I just did not know. But we were in a situation where the people that lived above us were total nightmares. I mean, it's like we heard noise constantly for probably 18 hours a day. Yeah, all day long. They had like a 3-year old upstairs that was pretty much a terror that jumped, ran across. I mean, it was constantly noisy, constantly. And I think that really pushed us and motivated us. But we came across one of my husband's. It was a church member. She had cards up in a restaurant, and we were visiting a restaurant one day. We saw her card, and he was like, "Yeah, she goes to my church." And I was like, "Let's grab her card." And so we got in contact with her, and started asking questions. And I was like, "Well, this is gonna take about a year," because I was thinking it was gonna take about a year. She was like, "No," she said, "We've had clients that close on the house and." Probably like, 30 days or something like that. And I was like, oh, okay. And so we started the process. We got pre-approved. We got approved. And then we were looking at houses. It took us about 2 days to find the house. And the second day when we got to the house, my husband, when he looked in the window, because it wasn't hard to unlock the door, he said, yeah. And when I walked in, I felt like this was our house. And so, we of course we went through the process. We got the clear to close. We moved in our home in November of 2018, 19. I mean 18, 2017. We've been here 2 years, so this year will be 3 years. 2017, and it was November the 1st, and it was the house. It was the sidewalk that I seen in the vision years and years ago. It was the sidewalk. But, over the years, even before me and my husband had, talked about, getting the house and everything, that's when I began reading the law of attraction, reading about the law of attraction and read The Secret and, start really, getting into it and learning more about it. But sometimes God, he will give, I think he will give you samples. He will give you examples of what it is that you can have. Sometimes when you think about things for yourself, and he really does dream bigger thoughts for us, and he gives us those desires. And I sit in my home every day. I wake up, I thank God for my home. I thank God because I feel like this is his house and he's allowed us to live in it and occupy it while we're here. And I take none of that for granted. And I am so extremely grateful and thankful for it. And I thank him every day of my life because it's beautiful. It's what we wanted. And even after this, even our next home is going to be exactly, something grander and more of what we want. because I already have plans in my head what I want to do with this house after we move out and purchase our second home. So, I said that because I want you all to be encouraged no matter what they say, or, I feel like, to me, YouTube is not a chore. I love editing the videos. I love putting it up. I hear a lot of YouTubers complain about editing videos. They complain about putting them up when they have thousands and thousands of subscribers, when they're making money from it. I'm not. And I'm like, if I was in their position, I'd probably making 2 or 3 videos a day. I'd be so happy. And I wouldn't change my tune. I wouldn't change it because I get joy out of it. And I'm so grateful that I'm reading the book of the power, because you're going to have and attract what you say. So if you're complaining about things, it's going to become worse. It's going to become worse. It's going to be badder. You're going to attract all that negative energy to you. And so when I hear people say, this is oversaturated, this is oversaturated, in my mind, I'm thinking, no, it's not. It may be oversaturated for you, but it's not oversaturated for me. And so, we have to think in those terms, in those conditions. But, there's some things that I want to manifest in my life, and I want to attract more things into my life, and I want my life to change within the next 6 months. I'm believing, I'm praying, I'm hoping, I'm trusting. I have goals, have visions, have dreams. And so I want to motivate you all to have hopes, goals, visions, and dreams. And if you see it, you can have it. God will show you things, you'll see things so you can attain it. If you hear them say, that's too good to be true, you can say in your mind, it may be too good to be true for you, but it's for me. It's going to be for me. Yeah. I can retire before the age of 50. Why? Because that's what I want. Anything we want to create, we can create because we have the power within us to create it. Our minds are so, 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 so powerful and are so unique. Everybody doesn't see the same thing. Everybody doesn't want the same thing. We all have different goals. We all have different dreams. All have different visions. But God gave us those things. Use your power within you to create whatever it is that you want to create. And God can dream a bigger dream for you than you can dream for yourself. So, signing off on here, I hope that you are blessed. I hope you got something out of this video. Check out Sparkle Marie. Check out thelovegal.com. Check out Brown and Bendy. I'm going to put all 3 of their channels in the link in the description box below. They are wonderful channels to check out about the law of attraction. They have some very good videos. And yeah, so we're going to keep attracting. We're going to keep doing the thing. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.